I feel like you have a better chance of finding your dad that left 10 years ago than to find a job in 2025. Like, I swear, bruh, nobody wants to hire me. It's like, why even say y'all are hiring in the first place if y'all won't even take a second to look at my application? Finding a job nowadays is like dating. You're out here shooting your shot by putting in all these applications only for these companies to end up ghosting you. Not even a simple email saying that I wasn't selected. These companies just go completely ghost on you. They out here treating me like I'm some hoe or something.
Okay. All right. This is an expressive speaker, but I mean, he's got it exactly right. Everyone that I hear from is saying that they're having to submit like tens, sometimes hundreds, thousands of applications to jobs they're qualified for or more than qualified for. You know, and I think that's especially demoralizing really early in life. When you've had like a couple jobs under your belt and like worked a couple places and just like have built some sort of like work history, it's not that the sting is less. Anyone hates rejection, right? It doesn't feel good no matter how old you are or what you have, but you have like previous experiences of success or rejection and then coming back from that. A lot of people who are just graduating and then entering the workforce for the first time don't have those initial experiences of like success, just frustration, failure. I can imagine it must be just, you must feel like giving up or take it as like a sign that you're not supposed to do something. Actually, real quick story before I let him finish his rant, because it's a really good one. I'd never worked as a server before. I'd worked at an ice cream shop, but not like in a restaurant. So I sent out my applications, 1, 2, 3 restaurants here. They're just like local stuff. I will never forget. I will never forget the interview for the job I ended up working that summer. A guy sat across from me, brought my printed out resume. I, dressed all nice. I set it out in front of him and then myself, and I had all the questions prepared ahead of time, and I sat across from him and he said, "Have you ever been to prison?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Listen, have you interviewed anywhere else?" And I was like, no, this is the first place. He's like, "You got the job." Hired me on the spot. That definitely tells you the kind of environment it was. I had a ton of fun, by the way. I had a ton of fun, met people from like all walks of life. I thought it was a really good experience. Actually, on that note, if you don't get the maybe prestigious job you're looking for, even if the job you're looking for isn't prestigious, but just maybe more traditional office, something like your parents had, or that will look good to your friends, to society, to yourself, and then end up having to get like a restaurant job or something that a job that people tend to look down on. No, I had a great time that summer. I made great friends. I feel like that really developed me as a person, which is, I think, far more important when you're young.
Because tell me why a few months back when I was looking for a new job because my current one wanted to cut my hours like LeVar Ball cutting off his leg type shit. And so when that shit happened, I applied to over 100 jobs and we are now in March. It's been a few months and not a single one ever hit me back. Not even McDonald's, bruh. Ronald McDonald out here hoeing by not giving people jobs. That greedy ass clown. Bro, you are cooked when not even McDonald's wants to hire your chopped ass. My advice to the people that are currently employed, please, for the love of God, keep that job that you hate so much. If you are one of those that keeps showing up late for work, you better start coming in at least an hour early. And for the ones that keep calling in for work, I want you to hop in that 1999 Civic with 200k miles on it and go clock into that 9 to 5, little bro. Because I promise you, the way the job market is nowadays, the last thing you want to happen to you is to lose your job. But hey, y'all stay safe out there, drink plenty of water, eat your vegetables and fruits, and remember, don't be silly, wrap that willy. But anyway.
He's gonna be fine. I'm sure he's going to be just fine. I like that PSA at the end. And he has a point. If you're struggling to find employment, the last thing you need is a kid. I think something else really important that he touched on was the, if you hate your job, just still stay at it. I think obviously if your job is so toxic, it's giving you health problems or otherwise like really damaging your quality of life, like you got to do what you got to do. But there's a lot to be said for, in a tight economy, and if you need money coming in, then having another job lined up first is a priority. And that's so hard to do when you have a job, you know, to interview for a job when you have a job, because you tend not to have a lot of extra free time, and sometimes it's like dancing around your manager and supervisor to go to interviews, and especially if it's not work from home. If you don't have the flexibility from working from home, like interviewing for another job is like, it's just so much harder. Honestly, I think a lot of this job hunt just points to the importance of financial and fiscal responsibility on a personal level. If you want to take more control back over your time and not have to be working right away, and you know, can quit a job you hate because your expenses are low and you have savings and a cushion and maybe have a lot of other skills so you can kind of be doing something else while looking for what you want. Good video. He's like very fun. He's very charismatic. I like him.
There's this really crazy theory going on right now because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or got a call back. And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies and holding on to it, because right now data is the new gold. And that's kind of scary. What do you think?
I don't think that's a crazy theory at all. I think it makes perfect sense. I'm trying to think if I read an article where that was confirmed. I mean, it's such an open secret now that a lot of companies just sell your information all the time. So if you're in a position where you're eager to give it to them, I'm sure. Oh boy, if you were job hunting, really, like my heart goes out to you. It's not a fun process, even in the best of times. And this era is so far from the best of times. This is the trenches.
Y'all, I hate a job that be like, so tell me about a time. Name a time when you... Give me examples of it. Like, bro, do y'all need help or not? I'm not with the silly games. When I come in the interview, only thing you should be asking me is, can I get here reliably? Am I willing to work? Yes. And yeah, like, do y'all need help or not? Like, I'm not about to sit right here and take all these tests. And some jobs you gotta take an assessment, pass the assessment just to get to the interview. Like, listen, I'm not doing all of that. You know, do y'all need help or not? Like, don't say y'all hiring and then be asking all these silly questions. I don't remember a time when. I don't care about a time when. Like, all this silly stuff. Like, that's why you really just gotta be like, you know, you gotta start interviewing them. You know, what are the benefits of me working here? You know, how do y'all protect employees? What are the incentives? Yeah, like what? No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because she's joking, but true. Like, you are also interviewing them for company fit. Granted, it does depend a lot on the market and your skills and how in demand they are. You know, when companies need people and there's a lot of hiring and there's a huge demand for applicants, then yeah, you know, you can play a little, well, what are you going to do for me? But this does not sound like the situation here. So again, it's a pro of having your finances in order. Then you're not stressed, right? Then you're not desperate and having to feel pressure to take the first job and to not really vet so closely because you're just looking for anything. I do 100% agree with her on like the levels and stages and assessments that have been going on in job hunting recently. But I'm literally hearing from people that they're applying to work at restaurants and become baristas and, you know, really entry-level jobs, and being called into interview like 3 separate times, sometimes like write essays or like do like just assignments, taking up so much time. And I think everyone just knowing their lane and resetting expectations, I feel like everything is just so crazy right now. Yeah, comment and let me know whether you're job hunting and if you're in the current environment and what your thoughts on it and your experiences, how many jobs you've had to apply to, what your responses have been, any crazy questions you've gotten. I do agree with her too on the point where it's like some of these questions, you know, are it's like, How many golf balls do you think can fit? Okay, just like ask me about the job. Ask me if I've done it. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing, especially if you enjoy like just lifestyle content. And I really enjoy making content about what's going on in like the lives of modern young adults. It's like frustrating and fun and crazy and chaotic in this world today. So if this is what you're into, comment, let me know what I should do next, and I will see you in the next upload.